think it actually ties in very well with our next
Okay.
speaker, because it was also a little bit of some discovery that, we're always expanding and putting out that call to so many other amazing souls that obviously we've been a little bit of busy beavers working with the lodge. So I haven't been able to tour and network as much as I was hoping to do in these last few years. So as I was discovering, and that's where we've met some of these amazing souls today, that this is maybe a first or second time connecting with them, but their story was so passionate and real. And that is what we have coming up for our next guest speakers, is a amazing power duel that literally takes the stage better than hopefully we are, because they are a part of TV production and anchoring. They are of the couples of gospel and love of what the faith and our Lord has to provide. They help with marriage and counseling, and they are authors and major influential speakers as well. So we are super excited to have this power duo join us as well for their story about Reclaim.
We are here, kind of.
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
All is well.
Doing good.
Well, we get to kind of make this as an inaugural meeting because I have just read up a little bit more about you guys and having the abilities to see what you have. And I'm just excited to finally hear it in flesh and hear more about what your guys' whole journey is. So we'll leave you to take it away.
Well, we're excited to be here. We sure appreciate the opportunity to, speak to the folks. We have a very interesting story. We'll try to, we're very transparent in that regard. So we'll try to share what we can to give folks hope and help them reclaim a lot of things in their lives, not just the past year, but a lot of things that may have been, they've allowed to slip through and, and just not be able to take power in, I guess, or yeah. So we're Casper and Cheryl Stockham, and I Am Love Builders is the name of our organization, our company. We started that over 16 years ago.
Yes.
Now.
Wow.
So yeah, we've been at this for a while, and when we heard about the opportunity to come on to share with the folks here, we jumped at the opportunity because, first of all, we like being able to share our story.
Yes.
And we love being able to give people hope and encouragement, things like that. So it was just a natural fit.
Yeah. And we also feel that our story has some just hope in it for other, especially couples, people in general, but especially for couples, those who are married, those who, regardless of whether they're kingdom believers or not, in this world that we're living in today, hope is needed. And so we just wanted to share a little bit of what we went through. We went through some spots where we were like, oh boy, we don't know. I don't know, we're going to make it. It's like, okay, God, are you hearing our prayer? We're really praying.
Hard.
Are we saying the right things? Is there something else we need to do?
Yeah.
But we did. We hung in there. We continued to keep pressing forward. We continued to make Jesus the center of everything. And God has just really showed himself, and we believe that the best is yet to come.
Yeah. So for those folks that don't know us, and there's probably most of you don't know us, right? So we'll kind of give you a little bit of our background. So I grew up on the East Coast in Connecticut. I went into the military at an early age. I was 17 when I went in. And I was just frustrated with life, but I knew that I needed to get out of the environment I was in because it was not good. People were getting shot and arrested and all kinds of stuff. And, my parents thought it was a great idea for me to join the military. So I did that and got a chance to see a lot. I mean, I traveled around in Europe. I got to see a lot of Europe and started to form some ideas about who I wanted to be and what I wanted to be when I got out. And I served for 14 and a half years in the Air Force. and I got out, and then realized that the job that I was doing in the military, I really couldn't do outside. Right, because I was loading bombs on airplanes, and that's not a very transferable skill.
No.
And then I also was in communications crypto tech. Now that is transferable, but a lot of the contractors weren't really hiring for that skill set.
Mm-hmm.
So I found myself really trying to just survive. And I was, can you hear us okay? Are we good? Okay. All right. So I was just trying to survive, and I got into training and sales and marketing and anything that was really easy to get into, right? If you had a pulse and stuff, they would bring you in to sell something. So I got into door-to-door sales, selling food in homes, all kinds of stuff. But I really gravitated towards technical stuff or techie type stuff, computer stuff. And I had my own little out-of-home computer business where I was putting computers together and setting up networks and things like that back in the day. And that's when I came to your office.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and that's when I met you. So get the folks caught up to where you were.
Oh, yes. So you came to my office.
No, no, you got to start before that.
Oh, we got to start with, my beginning.
Yeah. Where'd you grow up and stuff?
Oh, wow. I grew up in East St. Louis, Illinois.
Okay.
And it was, it's I guess it's not known to be one of the top 10 most destination places in the world to go to.
It's right across the river, though, from the Arches.
Yeah. However, it's home. It was home for us, and our parents taught us. I'm one of 3 girls. They taught us well, and I just got a revelation from the Lord to move. And so after I graduated from college, I was home. I worked for a while. Then I got this revelation to move and to come to Denver. I came to Denver. I lived in a room at the Y. I worked contract work. It was back in the day, used to call us Kelly girls. I worked for Kelly Services.
Yeah, I did too. A lot of temp agencies.
And I did that for a while until I got a real job.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, God just really groomed me.
Yeah.
And he was preparing me. And I worked. I was learning life, learning adulting, making mistakes along the way. Mm-hmm. And God kept his hand on me. And then I got into a good group of friends, good group of church, a good church home. And I was having a good time learning about the Lord. And then I met this one friend who decided, after a series of events, to open up her own real estate company, which I had my license at the time. And she opened up her company. She asked me to be her office manager. I was also her personal assistant. And things were rocking and rolling because that was during the time when real estate was booming.
Yeah, it was booming. Right before it crashed.
Yes, just before 9/11.
Yeah.
And things were booming. But we set up the office. And so we were looking for someone to help us get the office all set up. And so that's when I met Mr. here.
Yeah.
He came to the office. He was going to help us set up and get all of our IT hooked up. And I want you to know it was not love at first sight.
No, it wasn't love at all. It was
I did not like him at all.
Yeah. But there was some history on my part before that, because we teach marriage and coaching and counseling right now. But for me, it was from the school of hard knocks, because I had been through several failed relationships and marriages, and I was in a relationship that was, I don't want to be that harsh on it, but it just wasn't working. We put it that way. It was a bad relationship, but I was in that relationship when we first met.
Right.
So the Casper that you met was not the Casper I wanted to be. I wanted to be better. I wanted to be different, but that's the guy you met. So.
Yeah, well, I didn't like that guy.
I didn't like him either.
I didn't like him at all. There was no love at first sight. Yeah, there was no music playing in the background or anything.
Yeah.
I quite frankly had told my sisters there in the office, my girlfriends I hung out with, I said, you know, if he comes in here one more time talking to us like that. I thought Casper was very arrogant. He was cocky and he was condescending.
Yeah.
And
I was a hot mess.
Yeah, you were. And he talked down to us. And I just told the girls, I said, look, I mean, we would ask him simple questions and he, you know, just kind of, yeah, he
But
just, his answers weren't very pleasant. So I told him, if he comes to here one more time.
But it was,
and talk to us like that.
I
am just going to sock him.
I was just under duress a little bit. But so I call those times before Cheryl, BC, BC before Cheryl, because we weren't really, there was no chemistry or nothing going on. But the relationship that I was in ended, and I was frustrated. I was like, God, what is going on? I said, I'm in my early 40s, failing at relationships left and right. And I'm sitting, I can remember the moment as clear as it was yesterday. I was sitting outside of my apartment in my car, and I'm crying out to God. I'm saying, God, look, I love the thought of being married. I want to be married, but obviously I have no idea how to pick a good spouse or even be in a good relationship. So if she's out there, you're going to have to bring her to my attention, because I'm tired of picking the wrong ones. And that's when God, the vision of you, he said, what about Cheryl? And I'm like, huh. I said, well, she is pretty. Right.
Thank you. All right.
She's pretty. So I said, who knows? I said, but I don't know anything about Cheryl really, other than our we had some very brief conversations, and like you said, they weren't really all that.
No, they were really pleasant conversations. Whenever he would call, I just really transfer this call to someone else.
To low, yeah. So we had a mutual friend, her boss and my friend. So I called her up and I said, hey, is Cheryl dating anyone? And she said, I don't know. Let me check. So a couple of days later, she called me back. She said, the answer to your question is no. And I thought she meant, well, I talked to Cheryl and she was like, no. Get that guy away. No, get him away from me. She said, so what are you going to do? I was like, well, nothing. She said no, right? She said no, not no as in not interested, no as in she's not dating anyone. So what are you going to do? And I said, well, I'm going to call her. So I called, and you were like ready to transfer me to her.
Yes, I was.
I said, no, I want to talk to you. And she's like, who is this?
Like, talking to me about what?
So I asked her out on a date, and she said yes, reluctantly. But we went out on a date, went to the movies, and I found out she was really into action movies. And I love action movies, so that was cool. Went to go see action movie, and after the movie, we talked for 3 hours.
Yes, we did.
We talked about everything.
Yes.
And I found out she loved action movies. She was entrepreneurial minded, business minded. We had a lot of things in common. And God was like, that work? And I said, it works for me. So I knew that night. I really knew that night. I said, she's the one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when I kind of mentioned it,
I didn't know that night.
No, you did not.
Or the next night, or the next night.
A whole bunch of nights.
No,
I don't think so.
But interested.
No, but 2 weeks later, we kind of started to lean into each other a little bit, and I think I asked you to marry me like 2 weeks after. 2 weeks.
So
no, I asked you to marry me the next week.
Yeah, our first date was on I believe our first date was on the 16th of August. and that was like on a Friday or Saturday.
Mhm.
And then that Wednesday was when we got together.
Yeah.
And that Sunday we went on a drive up in the
Uh-huh.
mountains.
Right.
And we planned to have dinner together on Wednesday.
Mhm.
So that Wednesday we went to dinner. He prepared his famous dish, and I cooked up the rest. And
Mhm.
we were eating dinner, and all of a sudden he started babbling. That's what the best I can describe it. He was, I just want, and you, like, what is he saying? In my mind, I'm thinking, what is wrong with him? What is he saying? And he said, well, I just was wondering, I would love to have you as my wife. Would you have me as your husband? Like, what? Are you kidding me? What? I was like, do you realize what you just said?
Yeah, I know. I've been here several times. I know what I was saying.
And he said, yes, I'm asking you to marry me. I said, we'll have to talk about this later. Yeah. After that, I couldn't eat. I don't remember what the food tastes like. I was done.
That was done. But, fast forward to our short engagement, courtship and
because
engagement.
that first date was August the 16th. And
Mhm.
then on the 28th of September, not the next year,
No, that year.
like 5-6 weeks later, we were married.
Yeah, 45 days.
Yeah.
And that's been over 22 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we're married and things are going well for the first 3 months.
Yes.
And I was like loving it. First 3 months. I had a corporate job. Things were good. I had money. Bills were getting paid. And then I got laid off.
Yeah, and I was already in real estate, and he got laid off.
Mm-hmm.
9/11 happened.
Yep.
There was no more real estate. We both were scrambling trying to find jobs. We just got married, and so yes, we did have the bills from the wedding.
Yes.
Not that it was a very big wedding, but it cost.
Yeah, it cost
wasn't
money.
free.
Yeah.
So we had that, and we just wanted to. We were just trying to figure out how to survive.
We were in survival mode.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then we lost the house. Because I had a condo that we were both living in,
Yeah.
and that got foreclosed on, and it was just like a financial collapse. Everything just started collapsing, and then Casper was looking for a job.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for a job. Eventually, I did get some temp assignments.
Yeah.
And that carried us through, but it couldn't pay. It was enough to keep us fed.
Yeah,
and keep the lights on, but we couldn't pay the mortgage or any car notes and stuff.
We weren't homeless, but we were like in bad financial shape.
Yes.
And we had that struggle for a long
time. Yeah.
Many years.
Yeah, like 10 plus years.
Yeah.
We were that hole was trying to crawl out of it.
Yeah.
But the thing that I want people to take from that is that a lot of times finances is one of the biggest things that destroys relationships.
Right.
But it didn't destroy our relationship.
No.
I believe it drew us closer together. I knew that it was a series of events that wasn't his fault.
Right.
There was no reason to be angry, mad, upset, or any of that. Yeah. All I knew was somehow, some kind of way, we were going to get through it. Yeah. And there were many of evenings that we would just sit on the sofa and watch stupid stuff on TV.
That's all we had.
We didn't have money to do anything else, and sit there and we would laugh and talk about our childhood, our parents, how we grew up, school, all the things, and just learned more about each other. Yeah. What we had in common, what were the differences, and we just bonded.
Yeah. I think the thing that also helped during that time was you saw me trying.
Yes.
Right? I wasn't like sitting on the couch saying, oh, well, and just play video games and say, hey, did we make any money today? What's going on? Like, no. I mean, I was out there hustling, right? I was trying to make it happen.
Well, when we had those conversations, like in between the day that I agreed to marry you and the time that we actually got married, we saw each other every day. And he says I interrogated him, but I was asking questions, like scenario questions. And I know this is another thing that we teach.
It's like algebra. It's like, Johnny goes over here and he's walking, but then he gets a bus and catches a bus over like.
This is one of the things we teach couples. When you are young, or well, not young, but young in your relationship, and you are dating, and you're getting to know this person, don't be afraid to ask questions. Yeah. That's when all the red flags come up, right, that we normally ignore.
That's true. That's true. And during those interrogations, I guess I did okay. I mean, I was just trying to be honest and transparent.
And that's what I received from it, is that he was truly honest. He was very honest. He was sincere. He was being transparent. He wasn't trying to hide anything, not his past, not any of his weaknesses. He wasn't trying to hide it. And understand too, we were older. Yeah. We weren't in our 20s. We were in our 40s when we first met and got married. So, by this time, old girl here was not, I'm not playing any games here. I don't have time for that. So he was a very genuine and sincere person. And I would pray every evening, Lord, show me his heart. I want to see who he really is. And he was sincere and he was genuine and he was honest. And yes, I asked scenario questions because I wanted to know if we are in some kind of situation, what are you going to do? How are we going to handle it? How are we going to work through this? That was my opportunity and his opportunity as well to know how we each communicated. Right. How we each handled challenges. Now, of course, you never know 100% until you're there, but at least talk about it. Right. Because we coach couples, that's our ministry. They don't even talk about it. They just, well, we're in love. We're gonna get married. Oh yeah! And then you get married, and you find out that you need a little bit more than love.
A lot more than love.
You do. You need patience and gentleness and kindness and
long suffering,
forgiveness, how to pray, and some money.
A lot of money.
You need all these other things besides love. And yes, love can be the glue, but love can also, people say they're in love until challenges happen. Then you find out that not so much. Yeah. And so this is the early on stages, and this is some of the basis for our ministry and how we train and work with and coach couples in their marriages, because we sat there many a day and we didn't know how we were going to make it. Yeah.
What's interesting is that some people would say, oh, well, you guys had this plan all along to be doing what you're doing.
No, we didn't.
This kind of happened. And when we look at it now, I mean, it all comes together and it makes sense. But, we weren't planning on doing coaching couples on being happy and all the other stuff.
No.
But we were attending a church and they were putting together a marriage retreat. And we were on the board for the marriage retreat. Mm-hmm. And the couple that was over the board and stuff, they were asking all the other folks to do something, to do like a section, a training session or whatever. So I had plenty of experience doing presentations, and so had you.
Yes.
But not together.
Not together.
Just separately. So we decided to do something. We put a little presentation together. And we did that during the retreat. And then the pastor came up to us afterwards and said, I don't know if you guys realize it, but you guys play off each other well, and it just seemed like it was just good. Mm-hmm. He said it was just good. And you should think about doing it more.
Right.
And then he connected us up with Jack and Donna. Mm-hmm. And they were part of a grant that traveled around the state doing workshops for couples, but you had to be certified and things like that. So we got with them and
went through all our training, our certification. learned what we've learned
Yeah.
and learned some more.
Learn some more. Yeah, yeah.
And
But we did that for like 8 years.
yes, well, actually, it was a little longer. It was
Longer.
8 years. It
Yeah.
might be a little longer than 8 years, but we learned a lot in early on in our marriage. And I think it was good for me because I had never been married.
Right.
It was good for Casper because he'd had several, as he said, marriages and relationships that failed.
Yeah.
Well, now here's some revelation as to why, what happened.
Yeah, I had never been successfully married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and that's another thing that we work with couples on and we coach them on is reflect, especially couples who have been divorced. Right. Before you get into your next relationship, reflect.
Right.
Don't be afraid to look at what happened in your previous, be it plural, single, relationships. And don't look at it fearfully. Look at it with, I'm gaining knowledge.
Clarity. You want clarity.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that you are the best you can be before you start to connect up with somebody else, because if you're wounded and they're wounded.
And then you get together and you don't understand why this isn't working. Well, we got two people who never stop to get their healing. Yeah. They never stop to get healed. Their soul is still wounded. Yeah. Their hearts are still broken. Their emotions, bitterness is number one. Yeah. They're angry still. Yeah. I mean, we mask it, and we as people are pretty good actors. I mean, we can act. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. You good? We all good. But no, we're not all good. Yeah. And it takes a lot to say, no, I'm not good. Yeah.
During the dating process, we get all cleaned up and smell good and look good and pretty and everything. Yeah. And, we're all polite and everything. And then when you make that commitment to get married or move in together, now the real you shows up.
Right.
And another way to say that is the baggage, right? That you bring from that relationship. You got this baggage that comes in. But the baggage wasn't there when you were dating, right? You didn't carry that baggage around.
No, you hid it, you left it in the closet. But once you commit to living and doing life with this person, you can't hide that in the closet anymore.
No, the storage opens up and all the baggage,
everything falls out.
What is that?
Yeah.
But that was from the past. Don't bring that in here.
What do you do? I mean, you got yours, she got hers. It's just baggage. And no one, so that was one of the things that, when we talk about the previous years or your current year that you're in, for your next year, if you got baggage, fix it. Get them old suitcases out, go through them and say, I don't need this anymore.
Yeah. And we're going to share some tools with you before this is all done. We have a lot of tools on our website, and we'll share all that with you. But what we're talking about now is our MVP program, Most Valuable Partner program. What we found, because we talked to all these couples and stuff and doing these workshops, and everybody wants us to fix their spouse, right? The husband wants us to fix the wife. The wife wants you to fix the husband. And we're like, no, how about we work on you?
Yes.
We get you right.
Right.
Because even if there is infidelity or whatever's going on in the relationship, more than likely there was a lot that led up to that.
Right.
And it could be the fault of both parties are guilty of things.
And we're human beings. So 100,000%, it's both of us.
Right.
It's both of us. And so through those years, those trying years for Casper and I, we got a chance to talk about a lot of things and learn how he communicated, his communication style, how I communicated, my style, how that style evolved from our childhood, from our parents and our grandparents and all of that. All of that comes with it. It's not separated. And then you learn to evolve and tweak and change some things. Maybe there's some things that mom and daddy did you don't do anymore.
Right.
But some of the things they did may have been good. Maybe it's something you can build on and improve on. Or scrape it and come up with something brand new.
Start some new traditions or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's huge, and you have to learn how you're going to communicate when troubles happen, when challenges in your relationship happens, because it will happen.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah. So we did a lot of these workshops, and we were teaching other people's material during that time. You know,
Right.
we do workshops. It was a government grant for one, and we couldn't really mention God, couldn't mention Christ, couldn't pray for anybody. We could talk about love and forgiveness and things like that, but we couldn't mention God. And that was a problem for us because at that time we were Christians going to church, and we wanted to bring God into the discussion for marriage
because He's in our lives. He's in everything that we do.
Yeah.
Jesus is Lord.
Exactly.
And so we understand that that's not it for everyone.
Right.
But that was our rock. That's how we got through
we got through
all those times when we were broken, foreclosures and repos,
you name it.
Bankruptcies, you know.
Which one?
It's like, whoa. Yeah, we're not talking about one of each. It's like, oh dear. And we were just learning how to do life. And some of it was we could have done things better and made better choices and decisions, but some of them we were working with the best that we had. I mean, we didn't have the knowledge for a lot of things, and we were, I don't want to say we were winging it, but as my mother used to say, when you know better, you do better.
Right.
You do the best you can with what you have, and we were doing the best we could with what we had, and some of it worked, some of it didn't.
Yeah. But, you know, we pressed through and we kept growing and we kept expanding our knowledge as far as helping couples. And, you know, we worked with hundreds of couples through the workshop phase. We worked with the single folks as well through the workshops. And then we did a radio show for a couple years, every day, Monday through Friday.
Right.
Every day.
Every day.
In fact, I did too, right? You did one because we did our marriage show. But then
you had another show.
Bible to Business with my sister. So we did that show for for like 2 years, you know. And but then we were still trying to get a business going to where we could have some income coming in, steady income, I should say, you know. But we still had temp jobs and things going on, and you know, so we were okay. We weren't really growing, but we were just maintaining. And then I got sidetracked with politics. So I'm not going to go into details on it, but 10 years I was running for office and different things and stuff. And that kind of sidetracked all of our relationship stuff. But now when I look back at it, it actually helped in a way.
It did.
Because in the beginning, we were talking about healthy marriages and relationships. And we had been married for 4, 5, 6 years. And then couples who have been married for 10 years, 15, 20 years, they're looking at us like, what do you guys know about a healthy relationship? And on top of that, they would look at my past and they say, yeah, but you just had 4 or 5, whatever failed marriages and relationships over here. How could you help us? So,
and the reality is that because I've had these 4 or 5, I pretty much know some pitfalls and some things not to do.
There was very few stories that could come to me to where I could say, yeah, been there, done that. Right. But it still wasn't, we didn't have the credibility because of the time. We didn't have enough time in our marriage. Right. Even though things were going well for us personally.
And we were learning. We were using the tools that we have gotten, and maybe that's what was helping us, because we got in some education, some knowledge, some training early on, and these tools were really helping us to better communicate, to not fall into some of the pitfalls that maybe we would have if we didn't have the training, make some of the same mistakes that maybe our parents and friends had. And at that time, my friends that were married were having, oh my gosh, they were miserable. Their marriages were just awful. And I just kept saying, Lord, I do not want that in my life. I don't want to be married and miserable.
In fact, that was one of your hesitations on the whole marriage thing, was like, I don't want to be like my friends.
Right. I don't want to be married and miserable. I don't believe that if that's what I have to do, I'll just stay single for the rest of my life.
Exactly. Yeah.
And be comfortable.
Right.
And I was.
So, but the detour into politics helped season what we're talking about.
Right.
So after politics was over, we decided, okay, now what? Right. And we both agreed pretty quickly that we could revamp, revamp and stuff. And that's when I Am Love Builders, the logo changed. And we started to think about writing a book. And in fact, we wrote the book it's been almost 2 years now, called Divorce Proofing Your Marriage. And we got together with a friend of ours, PR lady, Angel Tussey. She's a PR guru. Yeah. And she said, okay, you're going to write a book. This is what you need to do. And she got us headed in the right direction. And then we wanted some forwards to the book. And she introduced us to a couple, Eric and Shakisha Heilig. And they were TV producers. We didn't know what that meant. We didn't know anything about it, but they also did marriage coaching and stuff. So we talked to them through Zoom. We still haven't met them in person, but we're good friends now, but we just never met in person. And we talked to them for hours through Zoom and everything. And they wrote the forward to our book. This was several years ago. And then toward the end of, I'm trying to get the timeline right, but so the book came out.
The book came out first, and then after the book came out, we went back around to the Hilux. You asked Eric about
the TV.
Yes, and he led us to Zandra TV.
Yeah. He said, hey, if you want to look into the TV portion, you need to talk to Zandra Evans. Zandra Evans is the founder of Zandra TV. And I have a public service announcement. If you do not want to be in TV, don't talk to Zandra. If you talk to Zandra, you will be on TV. If you have any kind of an idea or thought that you want to get across to a broader audience, Zandra can help you and you'll be on TV. So we met with Zandra through Zoom. And she's the studios are in Texas. Our studios are in the Dallas, Texas area. And talked to Zandra. She loved the idea of what we were talking about, winning with love. That's our logo and in the background. And we wanted to do a relationship game that we were formulating. At the time, we didn't have the game. We just had a thought about the game. We told her about it, and she thought it was a great idea. But being on TV is not free.
No. So that's where faith comes in. You have a lot of faith and prayer.
Yeah.
And you put those two together, and fasting, prayer, faith. Woo! Scripture says you walk by faith and not by sight. Yes, because you don't see anything. But the Lord is faithful, and he brought it all together. By his hands, season 1 was totally paid for.
Yeah, but we skipped ahead a little bit.
Yeah, we had to.
So we met with Zandra the first time, and she liked the idea. She told us how much it was going to cost to get this show on TV, and we're like, "That's interesting. We don't have that money."
No.
So she said, "Well, think about it, pray about it, whatever." Right? So we thought about it, prayed about it, got back with Zandra, and said, "Okay, we still don't have the money. We love the idea, but we don't have the money." She said, "Well, make me an offer. Think about it, pray about it, make me an offer." We're like, all right, whatever. So we thought about it, prayed about it, fasted about it. And then we got back to Zandra again, and we made her an offer that was basically some money down and payments every month. Money we really didn't have, but we made the offer, and she accepted it. We're like, uh-oh.
It's only cracking now.
And then we had to sign a contract, and that was even more on and cracking. And we're like, okay, well, I guess we're going to do this. So that was, and when we talk about the reclaim part of it, it starts with, if you want to reclaim 2024, you really need to start in 2023, which is what we did. At the end of 2023, we said, we're going to be on TV.
Right.
We don't know how. We don't know anything. We don't even know what it means to be on TV, but we want to be on TV.
It's all about your goals.
Yeah.
And so I would say to anyone reclaiming 2024, you need to look at all the goals that you wrote down.
Yeah.
And the ones that happened, didn't happen, came close, didn't come close, ones you just didn't even touch.
Yeah.
But write them all down.
Yeah.
And then separate them out And that's how you move forward for your 2025. But you reassess your 2024, reevaluate it.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid. It's not like I lost or this didn't turn out. No, everything, whatever. I'm trying to think of a quote that I read once. It said, "There's no such thing," and I'm not quoting it correctly, in failure, but learning. If you did fail, you have not failed, but you've learned.
Well, you don't lose unless you quit. So you just have to keep.
As long as you keep moving.
I heard a statement: fail forward.
Yes.
Right. Just keep going forward. So we were learning and growing and failing at this whole TV thing because it was new to us. But we were in training to become producers.
And we gave ourselves grace.
Yes.
Because we knew we didn't know exactly what we were doing. Right. And even though we were getting the information, it was a lot of information. And you had to process it. And some things we just wrote it down, made our list. And some things it's like, okay, these 5 things, I have no idea. I'm just gonna put them over here. Right. But these 5, I'm gonna focus on
and work on. Yeah. So we started to the process of building out the show, which included set design, including getting.
Oh wow, it was a lot more than.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, so we have to come up with all that. Set design, music, lighting, all that stuff, and then also cast members. We had to do a casting call, right,
for the show,
for guests on the show,
and we wanted 6 couples to come on the show to be our guests.
Because our first season was gonna be 6 episodes.
6 episodes, 1 couple per episode. We were going to have a conversation with them, like an interview, and then we were going to play the game. That wasn't developed yet. It didn't exist. So we were looking for these couples, and this is another thing that we went through because we had 1 couple, 2 couples, things are going well early.
Right. And then we get 1, we lose 2, we get 3, we lose 1.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And it was getting closer and closer to the taping date.
Right.
And we were just at 4 couples. And I'm really sweating, right? I'm pulling my hair out, right? The little hair I got pulled out. And Cheryl could see that I was like frustrated because our goal, not God's goal, but our goal was 6 couples. But we had 4. 2 days. 2 days before we're supposed to tape with 6 couples. We only have 4. You had been getting some downloads from the Holy Spirit.
I said, Holy Spirit, what are we to do? Yeah. And he said, well, why do you have to have 6 couples? Can't you do a show with 4? I said, well, yeah, we can. He said, well, why don't you do a forum, a love talk, bring all the couples together and have an open session of communication about relationships, about marriages. Okay. And so I presented it to my husband.
Yeah, she gave it to me and I ran. I was like, thank you, Jesus. That's exactly what I needed. 20 minutes later, I had it all mapped out as I had to, because it wasn't just the fact that we didn't have 6 couples. Well, there was a 6 couples plus their interviews plus the game. So that was basically 2 couples that weren't going to be in that process, which means we had a lot of show to fill in the blanks for. But we needed that time because we, as in you and I, we had all this material. We had
we had the content,
plenty of content
for even if we didn't have. We had content for even if we had no couples.
No couples, right?
But we had enough content to fill in for the 2 couples that couldn't make it.
Yeah, easy.
And we just did a pivot, and it was smooth right after that.
It was super smooth after that. We did, and the portion of the show, because we had like a three section, or what do you call it? The 3 different segments to the show. There was the interview, There was a love talk. There was kind of like a panel discussion about marriage and
Mhm.
relationships and stuff. And then there was the game.
Right.
Well, the love talk didn't exist. We were trying to find the other
Mhm.
two couples. But once we pulled those couples, the need for those other two couples out, we inserted the love talk, and we inserted training that we could do
Mhm.
of all the materials, including the stuff that's in our book, Divorce Proofing Your Marriage. So we were able to put all that
Mhm.
into the show, and it wound up being better than what we originally thought.
Yes. And I'm not even sure how much time we have left, but I think
We have about 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Mhm.
Okay. So long of the short of it is we produced the show. It is now open for airing. It's on streaming TV, Zandra TV.
Mhm.
Feel free to watch it. And now we're looking at season 2. But the whole thing is that our whole life is that you reclaim what you lost, and then you set a new precedence for where you're going.
Yeah.
So don't let it hinder you. Don't let it stop you. Give yourself some grace. Set goals, make plans, write them out, and keep it before your eyes. They say goals that you exact quote, but goals that have not been written out, that you don't keep before your eyes, are just dreams.
Yeah.
And so you need to keep those goals in front of you. So we write them out.
Right.
We look at what happened.
Every-
Look at what happened in 2024 for you,
Mhm.
and what didn't happen in
Right.
2024 for you,
Right.
and what you still want to happen in 2025.
Right.
Write them
Right.
out in categories, write them out, look at them, evaluate them, do an assessment of them, and then present yourself a new set of goals.
Yeah.
So what you didn't get accomplished this year, it's okay to take
It's
it to
okay.
next year.
Yeah.
And if you only got half of it done, then the half that got
Build
done, move it over
Just build
so
upon
that and build upon it so
Yeah.
you can expand and you can grow.
Yeah.
But in your marriage and in your relationships, I would also say have goals for that too.
Absolutely.
Since that's our area, and we tell our couples, write goals.
Mhm.
You write goals for your finances. You write goals for that trip you want to take next year, that
Mhm.
travel you
Mhm.
want to take.
Mhm.
You write goals for the family, for the remodel. You have all these goals. Have goals for your relationship.
Yeah.
And make one of those goals where you open yourself up for more training, for education, for growth, for enhancement,
Mhm.
so that your marriage, your relationship will continue to grow, bloom, blossom,
Yeah.
and thrive.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were married for 22 years. We had financial challenges for easily half of those years or more.
Mhm.
Last year we bought a house
Yes. Yay.
and 2 new cars,
Mhm.
or 2 newer cars.
Yes.
So things are going well. For the season 1 of our TV show is completely paid for,
Mhm.
and season 2 is 2/3 paid for already,
Mhm.
and we haven't launched into season 2 yet. So things are headed in the right direction. Now, are they where we want to be or end up or whatever?
No.
Not even close.
We're still growing.
Yeah.
We are still putting ourselves out there and opening ourselves
Mhm.
up to thrive,
Yeah.
to grow,
To help
to
as
flourish.
many, to help as many folks as possible.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So don't be down on yourself. I guess
Yeah.
that's the point I'm
Yeah,
gonna make.
yeah. There's plenty of people that don't want you to succeed. You don't need to be one of those people.
Yes.
You need to be focused on the future, focused on 2025, but you start now
Mhm.
by reclaiming 2024, but also writing down your goals right now
Mhm.
for 2025.
Mhm.
Whether they're and stretch it. Make them goals that you have to
Yeah,
stretch into.
Right. Don't if it's something that you can pretty much do all by yourself with
Yeah.
one hand tied behind your back. That's not a goal.
That's not.
You want something that's going to stretch you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want something to say, "Oh my,
My.
Ooh, that's a big one.
That's like TV for us. It was a big goal that we had no idea, but it was a stretch, you know. And then so tomorrow's my birthday, but I wrote a book that's in companion to our other book that we had, Divorce Proofing Your Marriage, called Mastering Adam. It's going to be available, put it in the middle there. It's going to be available tomorrow on Amazon. And Mastering Adam is a book that I wrote in conjunction with a podcast that I did about 1.5 years ago called Mastering Adam. Mm-hmm. And I had 20 Christian men come on, and we just unpacked Adam, the biblical Adam. And the tagline, the subtitle is Becoming the Best Adam for Your Eve. And it's a really powerful podcast, and the book is a great companion to the podcast. It's really for men, Christian men specifically, but anyone that wants to really become the best husband for their wife or the best partner for their spouse. And the book is going to be available tomorrow. So you can get all this information we've been talking about, our tools. We have some communication tools that are free that you can get access to. We have a love assessment that's free, you can get access to. We have the first 5 chapters of our book, Divorce Proofing Your Marriage, is also free on our website.
And it's mainly for singles. So don't discount the book because it says Divorce Proofing Your Marriage. Yeah. The first 5 chapters in the book is to singles. Yeah, because even before you have a good marriage, you need to know how to be a good single.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can get all that by going to our website. It's IamLoveBuilders.com. IamLoveBuilders.com. On the front page of the website, there is an image. It says MVP app. Mm-hmm. So you can download the app. It's free. And once you are logged into the app, you'll get access to the ebook, the love assessment. You get access to go straight to our TV shows that are all available. You can binge watch them or just watch one a week or one a day or however you want to do it. And we have more material up there that's being added every day and every week. So there's a lot of free stuff. And we also have some products up there like our books. And we have a new love pack. It's both of our books. It's our card game that we developed, the Winning with Love card game that's right back here. Also, a MVP bronze membership. That's a $297 value just for the bronze membership. So we have a love pack that you can get from our website as well and from the app that we'd love for you to take advantage of. And we are available. You know, we're available for questions. We're available for coaching. We do one-on-one coaching with folks. We do group coaching. We do workshops. You know, we'll travel. I know the organizers for this event are in Alberta, Canada. Mm-hmm. We have never been to Alberta, Canada. We'd be happy to come to Alberta, Canada.
We're open.
We're open for travel. So we got a lot of things going on. You know, we're working on a couples cruise and a couples workshop retreat getaways, a lot of stuff going on, plus season 2 of the TV show. So we're just excited to be able to come to you guys tonight. Share this information, and
we just want to thank you for allowing us to share our story with you, because we learned a lot through the ups and downs that we have had, not just in our marriage, that's just in our life in general. And we learned from it. We've grown from it. We continue to grow from it. It's not that we're perfect and we got it all together. Right. We are continually growing and working on ourselves and working on our marriage so that we can be MVPs, which is most valuable partner. Mm-hmm. So that I can be the most valuable partner for you.
And I can be for you.
And then together we'll have a phenomenal marriage relationship, and we'll handle whatever challenges and storms come our way.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. You wrote the book of our relationship. I was like, there's no other couples that just randomly, Cheryl, you and I, we can talk about how these men were nothing tasty. They were a plain white sandwich with no It was just when they came in the door. Yeah, you guys just absolutely nailed it. And yeah, bless all of this divine creation and connection, because you all are just the cherry on top of this perfect expression of what today was. And thank you for that realness and that authenticity of your relationship, because I think our world just gets so fantasized about, oh, are we this layer of family, and oh,
Right.
do
Yes.
and I think exactly how you guys nailed it. It looked good on paper because
Yes.
we got the jobs, we're corporate, we should be safe, everybody's analytical, we're throwing out the scenarios, and then good Lord, the floor just drops. And how do we float with it, or are we just screaming the whole way down?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It wasn't easy, but the main things that we were determined to stay together. Yeah. And I couldn't fault him or blame him, or life happens, and people, life happens. If you don't know it yet, you will find out. Life happens. It's nothing to do what you do or don't do. It happens. Yeah. And it may not always be the best.
Well, Brody and I, we were messaging back and forth in the back room, just being like, oh, there's hope for us. We can make it through all these mountains and valleys, and they're nothing high or low about it. We can do it. They did it. This is amazing. So
absolutely.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, thanks for being such a great inspiration. And yeah, that transparency and just your realness is just it's a good infectious. You guys just are a lighthouse for everyone out there that talking about the stuff that normally it's not like a Disney movie, but you guys made it look like a sitcom that you wanted to keep coming back to. So
well, understand, we weren't laughing when we were in it.
Yeah,
It was not funny. It's funny now, but
now we laugh, but we weren't laughing then.
Yeah.
Well, that's great that you guys can have that view on it, and yeah, just be that. You guys are an amazing light, and I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and to answer that, we should come up to Alberta, Canada. Yes, that was already going to be an invite extended, that we would love to have you guys up in our space and to enjoy our home with you. And anybody who wants to try and be brave enough in the Canadian winters or summers.
Right. Yeah, I think the summer probably would.
Yeah. We're down here in Colorado. We got our share of the Rocky Mountains. We don't need to go to Canada for winter.
Yeah,
we got our winter here.
But
relationships are challenging enough. You don't need to add sub 40 temperatures to it. That's good. Well, hopefully we can do an I Am Love Builders collaboration with Rock Lake Lodge, and that'd be incredible.
Awesome.
It sure would. We'd be happy to do that.
Amazing.
Thank you guys for inviting us. We appreciate it.
Yes, keep in contact with you guys very shortly, and best of luck with all the things that you have shaken down. And who knows, maybe you got some two Canadian yahoos that come up on your next episode.
All right.
Hey, love it. We're starting to schedule out for next year, so yeah, we definitely can have you guys on. Were there any questions that popped up from anyone in the chat?
You betcha. We had, it's so good to see soulful love kindled again. It reminds me of what my parents grew up like. Glad that true love ain't dead yet. Another one says, thank you. I've been just struggling with my own belief if this is really worth it, and hearing what you all had to say today really made a difference on what my heart needs to just dive in deeper and figure out what I need to do instead.
Amen.
No, and I really love how you all just wrapped in that awareness that, we can have dreams, we can have goals, but what's the absolute purpose behind that, right? Like it all might look good when we're just dreaming and forecasting it, but what are we going to actually expand and really kind of get a little nervous? Fear is actually a little bit more of our batteries to get us out there and running again into a little bit more than we thought we would. So
yeah, you have to have enough faith and faith in yourself to step out there and do it. It's like, okay, this is a big goal. I'm not sure how, but I'm gonna start with step one, and you will ride the wave from there.
Yeah,
incredible.
Another lady, she just posted a private comment. She's like, I don't know about the cruise. I don't know if he's gonna be able to swim or we'll make it through it. We'll find out. Love.
No pushing spouses off the edge of the
briefing in the exit and the description. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for all that blessings and your time and just your dedication and your love to bring that forward to all of us here today. It's such an honor, and thank you, and many years to come as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, if anybody wants to reach out to us, they can just download the free app and they can get access to a lot of this information that we've been sharing today.
Yeah, perfect. And everyone watching on the live stream, I posted their website again, www.iamlovebuilders.com, and go check out all that amazing stuff because it sounds very, very cool and exciting to dive into. So thank you guys for having all those goodies to check out and get into. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. You two be blessed. Your home be blessed.
And we'll be in touch to get you on our Love Builders show. We do a live show every Sunday. In fact, we did our show
earlier today.
But if we're taking off for the holidays, we won't start back up until January.
Amazing. Well, we would love
that.
Beautiful. Awesome. Take care and Merry Christmas, and we will see you all soon.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
God bless.
Bye. God bless.
Wow.
I just feel like I'm dancing. Love can push us all together forever and ever. Yeah.
That was just a breath of fresh air, and just I think a great way to really just round the wagons and get everything tie a nice little bow on for the whole entire day.
So as this is journeying, we did have some experiences that people just couldn't make it, or things did come up. So that is why I booked as many people as we possibly could, because we always know that there might be a little bit of some changes in our schedule. But we do want to say, for all the souls that we didn't get a chance to connect with, we do have opportunities to bring them on and to share their stories. So please don't be disappointed. They are willing to come back and offer more of their stories again, maybe in different forms or information. But this then just gives Brody and I a little bit more of some rest and some peace, and the rest of you will have been total veterans keeping up. The views have been going off the rocker all day throughout the day. So thank you for your consistency and your patience, and just hopefully you really enjoyed it. Again, guys, just please post in the comments some of your reflections and your takeaways, and any of you who are going to be watching this on replay, we want to hear what you thought about it. I know that it might not be live in action, but this is going to stay for a long while with us. This content will be not going anywhere. This was the creme de la creme today. Okay, so what would it be without a Niche Nation experience if we don't talk about something of the journey and the expression of why we picked today? When that purpose of the ending of 2024 is coming in such a close, we know that Christmas and the holidays are approaching, and this is a mixed experience what everybody is feeling, and especially with the meaning of what today is with the full moon of Gemini. You're seeing so much of the duality because the Gemini energy is lots about the twins. So we have the sun and the moon. So of light and of dark, we have found the yin and the yang of so much of that theme today as we've been broadcasting this live conference for you all. A lot of the teachings that we bring about the full moon is just about awareness. So this is of multi-cultures, multi-directions, information, facts, science, and also some energy flow and description of the astrology as well. I claim I'm no astrology master. I leave it to our professional gurus with that, because you are a dedicated soul that is very equipped with that information. But today is described in the indigenous meanings of the cold moon. This is where it is the darkest, coldest stage of the moon in its whole year. This is where we are really understanding that this is the brightest light we have in the darkest stage of our space. So that is why it's balancing beautifully with the Gemini energy, because we deal with the sun and the moon. Right now, it's really important about the curiosity and the play. Obviously, with twins, it would seem like there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of fast-moving energy, decisions, parts, and connections. And it's important that this is the time of being curious and investigating. As you are asking a lot of the questions and what we have brought into this today, that is why you had the depth and the richness of everybody's sessions and expressions today, because it's really about working with the Gemini energy. It's also working towards the planet of Mercury. And so if any of you do know what Mercury is, it is the energy of the retrograde, the communications, and all of that is ending with the chaotic storm phase of it right now. And we're asking in this stage of settling from everything that we've been dealing with for the last month and a half, that there's a lot of opening up some of the old wounds that will be healing, and having that reassurance as long as you're willing to resurface it and deal with it. This is a time that it's about big breakthroughs. Communication will become clearer, more understanding, and understanding that as you're channeling through these frustrations, it's really important to come back and really say, like, why are we sleepless and overthinking it and over processing it? Because there's plenty of time and space to do the worry warding on another space, but this is the time to be curious in discovery versus just in the flurry and the chaos of it. Because it's all about balance. So if we have too much sun or we have too much darkness and the moon, we don't have enough ability to grow, but also not enough ability to rest. So this is the time to really focus in that balance with it. Another big thing is trust the process. If you haven't figured it out so far, this is where you will hear it once more again. As everything has been discussed today, we are working with trusting the process, because when we deal with the authentic truth, we are then authentically hearing what the truth will set our soul free with. So again, truth sets the soul free. So as you're processing this, really to ask yourself in this questioning and awareness, close your eyes to what doesn't belong to you, open them to what does. And again, I'm going to repeat that because that was a gold nugget. Close your eyes to what does not belong to you, open them to what does. So as we're dealing with so much of this communication, awareness, breakthroughs, self-reflections, honesty, communication, new beginnings are arising. So again, full moon is all about that expansion, that celebration, the release, the expansion, the light in the darkest stages of the night. You can see so well. So this is a time where a lot of people are in this activeness, but it's also about coming back into this pause energy. Really zoom in and ask the bigger questions, like we just heard with our lovely couples of duoing with the Stockhams. Another thing is about understanding that with the teaching of the Gemini, we deal with the one twin is the mortal and one is the immortal. So it's embracing the duality and understanding there has to be things that must be dying or let going versus things that were lasting and resisting. So as we're going through that process, it's really important that as we're dealing with this fast pace and really knowing it, our nervous system is dealing with a lot of stress. So cortisol levels, adrenals, working with our fatigue, working with our constant need for serotonin and oxytocin and all these happy reflectors and things, you are in overload and overwhelm. So remember, bring some time to be quiet, rest, and reflect. This is the time that the storm is settling, so we will make it through. Just be a little bit more patient. As we are also diving into this awareness about the full moon of today, it's important to offer some ceremony or celebration or offerings for such an impactful and transformational day. What we'd like you to kind of sit with and journey with is my mind is a sacred place. As so many of them talked about this journey, about how our mind, body, and soul is such a beautiful connection if you're willing to use it in a healthy and respectful way. If you are then allowing yourself to release all of this mental clutter, chaos, and fiction and illusion, you will be able to be open to the curiosity. This is where you are free to explore and to thrive. And that is where you are allowing to trust your voice, to express your truth, and really trust the process of manifestation. Claim it and you will receive it. So again, all of these big things that we have come forward in our full moon of Gemini and the last set or saga, I would say, of 2024 has been a huge undertaking for a lot of us. And even through this personal journey, this year has not been one of the easiest years that personally I've had to deal with. As a household, we've had to deal with. And it's really important that after, really showcasing so much of what we have been able to cultivate and bring forward and assess and have all of this provided to you today, it does show how much that nurturement of our wounds and taking care of it and practicing on that proper wound care will help you heal the best that it possibly can. And it's just going to have to take that work. Are we going to feel the same? No. Are we going to do the same things? Possibly. And is it going to give us the result and the things that we've always begged for and asked for? That's up to the bigger guy above. So as you're seeing that there's so much talk about beliefs and faiths and discoveries and different strategies and awareness that you have witnessed. Hopefully this gives you such a bird's eye view of why we call it the Niche Nation, why we have claimed ourselves as the life tour guides. Instead of it feeling like this is something that you feel we are going to fix and overwhelm it or do things like that, it really will help navigate that discovery for you all to welcome such a bigger beginning than we even thought could even start. So with that being said, every year I have a ceremony to connect to what is transpiring for the year ahead. So last year when I sat in ceremony, we knew that it was going to be the wood yang dragon in 2024. And what really came up for the energy of this year was the reclaim word. And so as we have navigated through what that reclaim and what the teachings of the dragon brought forward to us and understanding the wood element and the yang, it was a lot of energy. It was masculine. There was a lot of action. There was a lot of figuring out what was truth and what was not truth and navigating through what this may really kind of transpire. And the reason why I bring in all of the different modalities is because my belief system does come from the teachings of the medicine wheel. And as we journey through that direction of all cultures, that it is of the yellow nation, of the red nation, of the black nation, and of the white nation, there are so many different expansions and totems and animals and words and things that we can do. But the bigger core of what we really bring here at the Niche Nation is about the compass. And that is something I have been very passionate about, because growing up as a very avid outdoorsy gal, that the compass and a GPS were two different worlds. And when I was taught the use of a compass, it really stuck with me about navigating what I do in my line of work today. So when we are dealing with the distractions, or the things that I call are the magnets that are trying to pull us away from our authentic north or our direction, that it really causes you to see who is really not in your highest good when things are trying to show you a path, bring you a discovery, send you on a soul quest. So as you're just kind of wrapping this up for the holiday season, really see with your compass, after you've experienced this process of today, or practices of the Niche Nation or other things that you've journeyed with this year, is to really ask yourself the bigger question of, who are my magnets and what is causing me to feel distracted from my authentic purpose and mission? As you are discovering with that question, for the tail ends of this year, it's really going to show you how are you going to navigate for the foundation of what's landing for next year. At this time, I would love to share with all of you who have been so dedicated to this mission and this purpose today, is that we are going to let you know what next year is all about and what has been prophesized for next year. So then that way you have a little bit more understanding, so that when you are wrapping up this ending of the year, that this really will bring you a bit more groundedness and a proper foundation for how you want to set up the upcoming year. So as we are talking about the different modalities, we are tapping into the year of 2025. In 2025 in numerology, this is the number 9. Number 9 in numerology is all about completion. This is the final stage of this journey and this cycle. And so as you are working through the completion of it, we are really asking you to see what is needed for you to bring this all into the theme of what this year is. The ironic part, but it isn't sometimes how we say it, is that it is also the year of the snake. So if any of you have heard a lot of the biblical and the awareness of the teachings that have been brought forward for you today, we understand that there is the element of snake. Now, snake is also where the shepherds actually had the staff, was some of them depicted it as the snake, the serpent. As we deal with the serpent, it was actually a tool of healing. So in our service practice, the ambulance symbol or the paramedic symbol is actually the serpent that has the staff and the wings, the golden wings, and the snake is within the intertwining of it. Snakes are the messenger and the totem of transformation and healing. It also talks about that journey between Adam and Eve, as the snake was coercing the poisonous apple of the forbidden fruit, so that you were able to understand that Eve did bite the apple. And so as part of my own personal journey and what I've reclaimed through this process is that this was a journey of discovering the knowledge to turn it into wisdom. So for this big year coming up next year, this is a huge transformation for all of us to shed the old layers, to really process out our fears, to understand what are we truly calling in, and are we going to be good stewards versus it just being takers, thieves, and manipulators of what is been asked of us. Now, as you heard throughout the practice of that I am and I am not of these things. It's really important to work through this process, that as we are working through this whole nation, it is letting go of these programs that everybody is needing to pay you back or to recess what needed to be done, and really focusing in, what do you need? Instead of the blame games, instead of all of this anger, this frustration and chaos, it is to work with the practice. If any of you have heard of many of the speakers talking today, is about forgiveness, release, to surrender. And another practice, if any of you are new to our work or the different things that we do share, is the Ho'oponopono prayer. And what that means, it's a Hawaiian teaching, and it is showing us how to truthfully work through that forgiveness and that process of letting go, is because we are no longer here to burden ourselves with the things that others that we thought we had to carry needed to carry, but it actually was a falsity of what we weren't authentically here to carry. So as this is the time that forgiveness is not giving somebody a green check mark, you have the ability to release this, surrender it, cleanse yourself, purify it, give it gratitude for what it did process, and have that thankfulness, and then release it with love. As you process that, it helps you cord cut, release the baggage, and really fill your cup back up where there was the damage and wounds, where we were trying to take that stuff into our space, feeling like that was going to fill the void, versus it just being left with the baggage in that person's vicinity and space, and walking away and learning how to fill our own space up authentically instead of bagging it. And we heard from Casper and Cheryl's talk about stuffing our closets full of skeletons. Now, some of these closures and these pieces that are navigating through this closure, this forgiveness, this process of shedding, there is some feelings of very huge vulnerability. And there are some people that you feel you can't apologize to them because they'll just attack you or use that against you or whatever that may be. There are thousands of different ways to work through this process. And we are very excited and honored to process some huge new practices and layers and studies that I have been, I will say, neglecting for over 10 years now, and now have the opportunity to take this time to steward the studies, and eventually I will be sharing with you more the depth of what we will be bringing in a different form of tool that we can offer here at the Niche Nation. This practice is very close to my heart and brings, truthfully, a lot of passion towards why this is so important, and why my mission at the Shanice's Niches level to where we are now at the Niche Nation is to really bring back that discovery and that reclaiming of what 2025 year's theme is of home. It is the honor to say that this next year of 2025 is the theme of home. It just feels so good to say it out loud finally. So many of us have been seeking, begging, prying open, maybe sneaking into other spaces and places that we feel that we might have not understood, or needing to fit in, or where we could belong. And this is a huge just kind of awareness that all of these things that everybody has been showcasing and sharing with us today is really showing you how to navigate so you can come back home. Some of the things that we will be showing you is going to be a lot of the things that we do work out of at the Rock Lake Earth Lodge. We will leave the website link in here, and to show you more of what we do also at the Niche Nation. But for all those who have been dedicated to listen to this and really process what's happening this year of home in 2025, this is important because what we need to do with our compasses that we have reclaimed throughout all of these years is to understand that if we have anything that is causing us not to have an authentic read on this direction, how are you going to pour and place and form your foundation if you truly don't understand which direction you need to place all of this? So it is more important for us to really take this time through this holiday season to really understand, what did you feel like when you dealt with family? What did your home feel like? How much of a rat race or over compromising, people pleasing, programming, the most amazing, authentic conversations, the joy and the bliss that was a part of your homes again, really seeing what is in your four walls. And we have so much of this being brought forward in this next year. And that will be our theme for the Rise of 2025. And again, Blossom, for all of those who are also knowing about our in-person events that we host every year. The spring equinox is called Blossom, and the fall equinox is where we do our Rise, and that is always here at the lodge now. So Blossom is journeying on Vancouver Island. We will be going to the west end of the island, so to Ucluelet and Tofino this year. For those that have been watching and knowing all our memberships, all of you are going to get the access to the early bird pricing. All of those ticket sales and that information will open up January 1st. We only have intimate spots available for each of these retreats. So if you are really wanting to make sure that you do claim a seat at our table, at our home experiences throughout this process, please do not hesitate. Understand that we are moving a lot of our services and our practices to non-refundable. It is not that we don't want you to we understand if there's life situations or emergencies or things like that. What we're trying to do is help people, because we keep feeling this enabling that we are helping people out, trying to figure things out. We really want you to understand, if you're dedicating this for yourself, you are making that choice for you. And it has nothing to do that we want you or are going to pressure you into this. Our line of work is not about making sure that this is about money, tags, expressions, or things. This is about how well are you willing to invest in yourself. And if you're willing to put that money forward, if you're willing to put that time forward, if you're willing to bring your family here, if you're willing to process and open up that sacredness and that vulnerability of yourself, we really are asking all our clientele, all of our connections, all of our expressions to understand that this is your own space to take the responsibility for what you are asking, and inviting you to authentically witness what we do offer and hold space for. So as we are journeying through that, we are really asking for those people who know that they are working through something or wanting to elevate through those next layers. We are offering that a lot of these different services, Brody and myself. So if you're seeing that there's more information with Brody and I both in it, we are no longer separating what we're doing. We are meshing our worlds together and creating that this is a duality of Brody and I's work. So if there's something that might be moving between both of us, that's where it is just understanding that this is the Niche Nation providing this, and that is Brody, myself, maybe some other practitioners as we move forward, as they're willing to be a part of the network. So hopefully that is now just that, wow, holy cow, this was what a day, and fulfilled it into the best of your expectations and wishes and needs and prayers. So that brought you forward to it. Just looking at some of the comments here, some people just stating, thank you. This is more than what the doctor ordered. This is everything my soul needed and more to get me through the holidays. I will be checking out your website soon. Where do I book? How do I get there? Again, keep your eyes focused on our niche, the Niche Nation. If you're looking at Niche Nation, that's an eyeglass company. So we're not doing that. We're the other version and vision of yourself and work. And that will hopefully bring a little bit more awareness to what we can offer for you guys.
You bet. Thank you for everyone that showed up, and look forward to more exciting online conferences and retreats like this in the future. We look forward to sharing those with you.
This was a lot of fun.
I had fun.
Yeah. So again, goodbye 2024 in the best way that we can send it off. And if any of you are needing any journeying or things like that for Christmas, don't know if you really have somewhere to be or celebrating New Year's, please understand that we are very excited and hosting always something. So if you feel like you're just missing that home aspect, that we have our doors open for those who might need a little bit of time to stay and connect. So beautiful.
Amazing.
Okay, well, have a great night, everybody. We are going to sleep like logs tonight, and this was so much fun. Blessings. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's all I can say. Any more of these comments and connections? They said, wonderful, thank you. Everybody's really excited about the launching of Home. I'm glad you guys appreciate what this is going to transpire and show from there. And if Brody, we can just let the video run one last time.
Sure.
And that will be it.
Which video? The offerings?
The offerings and then our niche nation.
Okay, sounds good. Here
Perfect.
we go.
Bye, guys.
Great night, everybody. Bye for now.
Love you all.